MLB Bets Thursday, June 27th, guys. Good news, today's play is at night, so you're going to be able to catch this video live, watch me place my bet, and follow the play today. Unlike yesterday, we did have the Cardinals plus 1.5 as a main play. That did go down. 11-1 MLB run. We are all good, onward and forward. But the analysis did really well. All around 3-1. Told you guys Mets plus 1.5 would have been my pick for yesterday. They destroyed the Yankees. Yankees are really struggling right now. Let's call it what it is. Along with that, I mentioned a couple other plays. I mentioned the Guardians versus Baltimore Orioles, which Baltimore Orioles, I told you guys, minus 1.5, and that hit as well. And I told you guys Pirates money line. The only reason I stayed away from that is because how low they were in the OBP, but they dominated in the Reds. And that leads me to a big point here. The last 3 games, the Pirates have been heating up. They've been putting over 5 runs per game. And it's a team that the whole season, they've been doing that. They've been gaining momentum, get hot for 5-6 games, and then get cold. So something to look into, right? If you're early into a trend that's going to work, you're going to get paid out big. In this industry, in the stock market, in real estate, if you found Bitcoin in 2011 and you invested a little bit into it, you'd be a multi-millionaire right now. And it's a similar aspect with sports, right? If you find a team that's trending upwards and you're right and you start tailing them consistently, you're going to profit big money. Again, 11-1 run. I am going to go in here live and place the bet again today in front of you guys. As always, please like, share, subscribe to the show. That helps me grow the channel. You guys provide value to me, and I'm going to provide even more value to you. So let's get to it. Before we start, I did announce I was going to have a giveaway yesterday, and I'm going to pick the winner right here in front of you guys. So I'm going to go to my channel, view channel, and I'm going to pick yesterday's winner. Let's see who commented. I'm going to make it nice and quick. Lock of the day, Mets, Yankees under 8.5. That was not it. Let's see, Orioles money line, Jays, Red Sox over. I am going to, this is a lot of comments, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Freed Richardson. And I'm going to comment right here, reply, winner, message me on Instagram to get your 200. Cool. So right in front of you guys tomorrow, I'll have a screenshot paying this guy out. Congratulations. I'm going to start doing this a lot more. Some will be money. Some will be accounts, funded accounts. As you guys can see right here, Sports Bet Funding. It's a partnership that I've created with a company where they're funding sports bettors. I'm actually in the process of getting funded with the $50,000 account. And they allowed me to give away $1,000 accounts. And I'm going to do that either tomorrow or Monday. Now, let's get to today's action. As always, before I go in to show you action, I show you guys my tickets, transparency. Yesterday we had Cardinals plus 1.5. That lost, but we're still on a great run. No problem, we move forward. So as always, first thing we look at is OBP for the last 7 days. See which teams are trending upwards and which teams are trending downwards. So the Mets, they're hot. Let's call it what it is. Brewers, Phillies, the bottom of the half. Kansas City Royals, the last one, the last team right now. Miami Marlins, Diamondbacks, White Sox, Giants. Now, I wanted to look at RBIs because one of the games I'm going to touch on is Blue Jays Yankees, because it's the game of the day. It's a game that most people want to touch on because they see Yankees, they see Blue Jays. And when you look at OBP here, Toronto Blue Jays in the last 7 days, they're in the top 12. Now, when you go click RBIs, they're not really converting as well. And they're 3-7 over the last 10, and it's a fact that you guys should look at when you guys are looking at OBP. It's the second point. It's the second strategy, I guess, now that you guys have been seeing me look at OBP. I look at RBI as well, but after I look at OBP to see if it's matching, right? Because if you're getting people on base, kind of like the Cardinals yesterday, but you're not scoring them, then it defeats the purpose. So you kind of want to find teams that are high in OBP and are matching the RBA rather well. Just a note so you guys kind of start looking at what I look at when I'm picking my play. So I'm going to start off analyzing a bit of today's games, giving you guys a broad analysis of each game. Now, again, I am doing videos now every day, analyzing each play. These videos are a little longer. They're not for YouTube, but if you are interested in seeing my strategies for each play, just message me strategies and I'll add you to the group. Now, for today's games, we're seeing Arizona Diamondbacks against new pitcher David Festa. I'd be wary taking the Diamondbacks. They have been trending downwards. The Twins are high in the OBP. They have a minor league pitcher, but if he fends well within 3 innings and doesn't let more than 1 or 2 runs, I think the Twins have a good shot at winning this. And along with that, you're seeing a clear reverse line movement. All action and all bets are on the Diamondbacks, yet the line's pushing downward. Now, Chicago Cubs, San Francisco Giants, a game that I'm hesitant to touch just because both pitchers have been trending downwards. The Cubs have not been playing their best baseball, even though they're a hell of a team, and the Giants are home. I believe Vegas is trying to trap you to take the Cubs as a small dog with a better pitcher, and Giants are ultimately probably going to win. That's why they're favorite. The smartest person in the room, not in this room, but in the sports betting room, is Vegas. So essentially, you got to know how to read lines. That's a critical factor in this industry, knowing how to read lines and know how to fall for traps and knowing when they're trying to make you fall for a trap, right? You're not going to be right 100% of the time, but if you're right 70% of the time, you're making big money, guys. So I'm staying away from these two games. I lean over to the Twins and the Giants for these two games. Now, the three games that I'm going to talk about today, Toronto, Yankees. That's the first game we're going to touch on. I actually have these for my line, 627. First game we're going to talk about. So Carlos Rodon against Jose Berrios. Now, I pulled up here already their matchups and their history against each other, right? And let's call it what it is. The Yankees have the advantage just based on how they have seen Berrios. Judge has 3 home runs on him. Soto has 1. Torres has 1. Verdugo has 1. And side note, Torres should probably get booted from that team. This guy's making way too many mistakes this year. Now, you look at the Blue Jays. They have not hit Rodon well. Now, you got to factor in Rodon has been trending downwards. He got popped against the Braves recently, and he hasn't been the best pitcher. Now, am I going to trust the Blue Jays to win this game? Not necessarily. I think the Yankees can win this game, but there's a reverse line movement. And the way that the Yankees have been playing as of late gives me no trust to take them. I would personally stay away from this game, but if I were to lean on a side, I'd go Blue Jays. But this is, in my opinion, even though most will perceive it as the best game of the day, the worst game of the day. Both teams are trending downwards. Both pitchers are trending downwards. The Blue Jays are a very disappointing team this season, and I think the Yankees are going to end the season disappointing too. Kind of like every year. They start hot, they're great, but when playoffs come, they're going to shit the bed. When I made my lines for that game, I had the Yankees a little bit smaller favorites, and Vegas opened them up at minus 135. And guys, with due reason, man, the Blue Jays are a team not to trust. Personally, it's a team that I'm personally trying to stay away from. And two teams trending downwards, I typically don't like taking teams that are 2-8 over the last 10, 1-9 over the last 10. 3-7, I analyze and see if there's value to it. Kind of like I'm about to talk about these next two games. So, next game, Cincinnati at St. Louis. In my opinion, this is a trappy line. The current line is Reds plus 110, Cardinals minus 130. I thought the Cardinals should have been a slight bigger favorite just because of the way they've been playing. They're home, but Vegas thought otherwise. And as I analyzed this game a bit further, a couple things popped up. And one of them that popped up for me, let me find this game, is that Mikolas has been hit by Cincinnati. India has 3 home runs on him. Martini has 1. They have hit Mikolas rather well. Abad, on the other hand, hasn't gotten hit as much as Mikolas has. And I think that line's trappy, guys. Very, very trappy. Cincinnati Reds is a team that have been back and forth, kind of like the Pirates. But the line is Vegas begging you to take St. Louis at home. They lost yesterday. Reds came from a big loss yesterday too, but they do have Abad, and Abad has been one of their better pitchers. And the Reds are a team that can pop off any game. They're just not consistent with it, kind of like the Pirates, but they're a team for the future if they stay young and they stay healthy and they keep that core together. They're a team that's really good batting-wise. They're just missing some good pitchers. But in my opinion, just looking at this game altogether, the Reds seem like the play. There is a clear reverse line movement with all the action coming in, or majority of the action coming into St. Louis. St. Louis also holds the edge in the matchups head-to-head. You look at Abad, he's lost twice against St. Louis. He's 1-4. Well, that's actually Montez. That's incorrect on covers. So I apologize on that. But you see, Mikolas, he's been dealing really well. He plays better at home. Abad, he's been a little bit back and forth, one of the better pitchers. But altogether, the Cardinals are hitting much better. They're home, and they should win this game. But I'm going to write it right here, and I'm going to call this a trap. And if I were to take this game, I would go with the Reds money line. Now, this leads me to my last game of the day, which is the Cleveland Guardians against Kansas City Royals. And I hope you guys are ready for this because you guys are going to learn a thing or two from my analysis, how I see things, and how I'm going to take this game. Now, we know Cleveland has been away for the last 3 games playing at Baltimore. They've been playing tight games. The last 2 nights, 4-2 they lost, 10-8 they won. They've been using their bullpen quite a bit, one of the best bullpens in the league. Now, what am I factoring in here? The line, in my opinion, is trappy. It's almost even. When the Royals are last in OBP, they're trending downward, and Cleveland has the better pitcher today and the better hitting. So why is that line even? The line is rather even because of traveling. Yesterday, the game ended at night, and they had to travel to Kansas City, which is a 5-hour flight, so there's jet lag involved. Along with that, Cleveland has been using their bullpen, guys, and I can show you guys this right here. Let's pull up Cleveland. They have one of the best bullpens in the league, Cleveland, and so does Baltimore. Now, you can look at the bullpen in covers.com, and you can look at who's their rather better bullpen pitcher. So, in my opinion, one of the better ones is Hunter Gaddis. You got Emmanuel Clase, that's their closer. Cade Smith, one of their better pitchers. Now, Cade Smith and Emmanuel Clase have 2 days of rest. Emmanuel Clase you might see today if he's closing the game. If not, you're not going to see him. Cade Smith, they're probably going to avoid putting him in. My main concern, if I were to see a bullpen pitcher, is Hunter Gaddis, but not really, because the Kansas City Royals have hit against them. And other than that, the rest of their bullpen is rather shaky. So if Mr. Lively doesn't put up over 4 or 5 innings, they're going to get to their bullpen, and Kansas City Royals can take advantage. Along with that, Kansas City's Royals' strong suit this season has been their pitching. Their pitching and their bullpen. If their hitting was up to par how it started in the season, they'd be rolling. But let me factor this in. They're one of the best teams at home. They have Wacha on the mound that, if you know, and we can pull it up here on Baseball Reference, Wacha came back from an injury. He just came back recently. He pitched against Texas. Pitched extremely well, actually. 5 innings, just 1 hit, 1 earned run. And he has a 2-0 record against Cleveland. Now, one of that was in 2021. The other one was 2023. But he's dealt them pretty well. And we can actually pull up the matchups right here. Let me go to Cleveland against Kansas City. So, rather even. We're seeing a rather even pitching matchups in the sense of each team hasn't hit the pitcher too well. You're looking at Wacha, which something I factor in that you're going to learn here is I like to look at how Vegas is positioning the pitcher's total earned runs. And if Ben Lively is a better pitcher with a better record and better ERA, he should have better odds for his total runs to go under. But it's quite the opposite. Michael Wacha has the better odds to go under 2.5 when Ben Lively has better odds to go over the 2.5. So those are little things you can look at, right? If you're curious as to see how Vegas is lining up that matchup, you can look at the earned runs, the total earned runs, total hits, and you can kind of start detecting and like an investigator seeing and disclosing what this game's really about. So something to factor in. So all around, this game is rather even, but in my opinion, the Kansas City Royals hold the edge just because they didn't have to travel. They played yesterday against the Marlins at home. Cleveland is traveling. They traveled last night. They landed today. Now, they're also with a tired bullpen, and Wacha came from a big game. They have a good bullpen, and altogether, Kansas City Royals at home, I like him a lot. I think that's a value play at minus 105 after analyzing this game thoroughly. Now, I know I told you guys very early on that I look at OBP, big time, right? I factor in OBP significantly. But there's times where I look at lines, and I create my lines, and I start analyzing. I notice it's trappy. And I started looking to see where the whole crowd is, right? And you know it, I know it. Cleveland Guardians have majority of the handle, as you can see right here, 72%, 74% of the bets, and they have all the action on the run line. Yet the line is rather even. This line is probably going to push up to minus 120 for Cleveland. If it pushes downward, even more reverse line movement. But it's the game to me that has the most value after analyzing every single game. And just because of the fact that I told you, they're home. The pitching matchup is even. The bullpen favors Kansas City Royals. Wacha is 2-0 against Cleveland. And altogether, I just like the value play at home. I like to take home teams. And I believe, like I told you guys at the start of the show, Royals are a team that if you catch them early in their trend upwards, you're going to make a lot of money. And it starts today. In my opinion, I'll make it 12-1 over the last 13 with the Kansas City Royals. And I might be taking the Reds as well. That I don't know just yet. I'm not going to place that bet today. And something I wanted to show you guys too is clicking the pictures in MLB.com. You see a lot of their splits. And you can look at a lot of cool things like going to the game logs, going to 2023 season because that's when Wacha faced the Guardians last. So let me pull this up. Choose team, Cleveland Guardians. And you can see how he's done against them. And 2023, 3 at-bats for majority of their players, only 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 man walked, and 5 shutout innings. Now, something to factor in is this is 2023, so some of the players are not there, right? Josh Bell's not there. Armin Rosario's not there. Miles Straw's not there. But their main players are Jimenez, Ramirez, Kwan, Josh Naylor. They're there, and they haven't really hit against Wacha. Wacha's one of the best pitchers when he gets up 0-2. This guy's a strikeout pitcher. Cleveland swings. They hold the plate really well as well, but I believe right now it's a value play. Cleveland is going to start trending a bit down where regression happens to anybody, any team, and Kansas City Royals will take advantage of that. So don't fall for Vegas's traps, guys. If you see a line that seems too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. This line, for example, Cleveland Guardians at Royals. It opened up at -122, is all the way down to -115 in the Hard Rock app. With all the money and support going to Cleveland Guardians with due reason, there's a reason to that. And like I explained earlier, they traveled yesterday. Their bullpen is gassed out. And on top of that, the Royals are one of the best teams in the league at home. Yes, they've been struggling over the last 10, but it's a team like I explained earlier in the video. If you catch teams early in their hot streak, you're going to make a lot of money, and it starts today with them. Along with that, I wanted to show you guys this key factor that I was looking into when I was looking at the trends for Kansas City Royals, and you can see it right here, which is they're 4-1 over the last 5 games versus Cleveland in Kansas City. In Kansas City, key fact. So they're 4-1 against the Cleveland Guardians at home. They play better at home, and along with that, their best bullpen pitcher in Hunter Gladys, they have hit already. And that's one of the guys that Cleveland is most likely going to use today because he's well rested. So let's get to today's pick. Going to my Hard Rock app, going to find the game of the day, which is Royals money line at -105 for 3,000. And we're going to place this bet. Place bet. It is in, guys. Now, we're officially in, as I mentioned earlier. I might be taking the Reds. Not fully sure yet. Got to analyze a little bit further. Want to see how that line moves before taking any action. Now, as always, guys, if you like the show, if you learn from it, if you're making money, most importantly, through my analysis, like this video, share it with your buddies, subscribe to the channel. As I start seeing this channel grow and more engagement, the more I'm going to give you guys. My idea is to start doing 2 of these every day. Not every day, but at least multiple times a week. A morning analysis, an afternoon analysis, so you guys get all my plays, but I want to see more engagement in the videos prior to do that. Again, guys, I hope we cash today, 12-1 in the process with the Kansas City Royals. Get ready for tomorrow's video because we have a system play and I'm going to give it out for free. Catch you guys tomorrow.